However, transformational education is Janet's passion, and she has embraced a lifelong spiritual study at community school through her many spiritual education classes, as well as from other global spiritual leaders around the world. Janet continuously sends a message from her heart to yours. You are spiritual geniuses. Today's talk is titled The Field of Your Soul, and we're very much looking forward to it. To enhance Janet's talk, we have Edith as our musician, and we know what a talented, prolific songwriter and singer she is known for her passionate, memorable voice. But did you know that Edith was transplanted from Scotland as a teenager to live several years in Alberta before settling in the British Columbia's beautiful West Coast? This has given Edith a broad outlook on life. It's an ever-changing journey. Please get your listening and embrace the solo by Edith, leading into Janet's meditation and talk. Go ahead, Edith.
Little sparks we're made of, stars on a velvet night. We are grand illumination, God burning bright. There are notes we're all made of. Life tells us, sing along. Melodies in joyous chorus, harmonies that bring us home. We are and maybe we are all and nothing. Maybe that's what we're made of. And maybe we are blessed, unfolding deep within and high above. And we are drops of water, and do we decide still ponds to rushing rivers? rivers, salty tears on a joyous tide. We are overflowing, overflowing, overflowing life. These little sparks we're made of, stars on a velvet night. Oh, in grand illumination, God burning bright, we are overflowing, overflowing, overflowing light, overflowing light.
We settle into our seats or chairs, or maybe even on the floor, and we begin to quiet the mind. We settle into this peaceful moment as we all collectively join each other in the celebration of this day. Allow this healing balm of pure love, this presence, to be with you in this moment. And now deep within the silent space, in the field of your soul, you are reminded, I am without beginning or ending. My consciousness is not bound by time or space. Like the universe itself, I am limitless. I am part of a vast, unified wholeness. We set the healing tones now. God is the healing thought. And in this moment, we begin to take our breath deeper and deeper into the space where we allow God to breathe us. It is an invitation in sacred practice. And we include all people and beings at this time, present, focused, intentional. We are present in the kingdom of divine ideas, focused on the goodness of God. Peace is mine as I still myself in the spiritual silence. It is my sanctuary, retreating from habitual thought and action, and instead refreshing in the silence. I'm immersed in peace. I am peace. Peace calms my nerves and cells and harmonizes my feelings to open my mind. We go into the silence now with this affirmation. I am peace in this moment. I am peace in this moment. Peace is mine. I have embodied myself in spiritual silence, and I am able to breathe more deeply. I am safe. I am safe. And we move into the light of divine wisdom, which is guiding my every step. Any concerns, I now direct to divine wisdom. Wisdom arises as a signal, God's intelligence recognizing both answer and a sense of direction. God is wisdom, therefore I am wisdom, making wise decisions. And we go into the silence once more with this affirmation. Wisdom is my guide. Wisdom is my guide. The light of divine wisdom guides my every step, and I now breathe more deeply in this space of divine wisdom. And we move into the thought of God strengthening and healing me, present in the body temple. I focus on the truth of divine life. I am aligned with vitality and vigor and flow and health and wholeness. Every thought of truth has strengthened my body system, and every thought of truth blesses and heals. I am one with divine life in this silent moment. And we go into the silence once more. And with this affirmation, I am one with divine life in the silence now. Every thought of God life strengthens and heals me. And I now breathe more deeply into this place. My thoughts, words, and actions contribute to the peaceful world, for this is where I live. I am divine, and I choose the awareness of truth. I remain present, focused, and intentional, so the light of God can express fully as peace, life, love, and wisdom. We come to a time of almost completing our prayer and meditation time together with metta bhavana, or in Buddhist tradition, loving kindness. And we can practice this now together, focusing first on ourselves, and then to someone we love, and then to all living things. We focus now with these words. May I be well. May I be peaceful. May I be at ease. May I be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be happy. We sit in this kindness now. As we prepare to return to the activities of our day, to this present moment, we take a deep, deep breath and bring our time of prayer to a close. We continue to remain present and focused. And with grateful hearts, we go forth from this sacred time, empowered to accomplish the will and the work of Spirit, your divine nature. And with this, we move and breathe and have our being in this place, bringing our attention back to this moment, to this place, renewed and regenerated, as we remember, as we remember. And today, we are speaking about something that's very, very close at heart to all of us, which is that place called the field of your soul, also known as the eternal echoes that vibrate out as your being. We are all spiritual geniuses, and we are all here, and we were all created in the image and the likeness of the divine. Unity minister and master metaphysician Eric Butterworth wrote a book many years ago called Discover the Power Within You. And he says it this way: be reminded of the great consciousness of being. Life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. And Jesus said it this way: you are the light of the world. This is the field of your soul, everyone, this morning. It is your power of possibility. And in this, I bring up a image here, an image of the Hindu tradition, because this actually comes from the prologue from the book Discover the Power Within. And this is how it goes. According to an old Hindu legend, there was a time when all men and women were gods, but they so took advantage of their divinity that Brahma said, the chief god, to take it away and to hide it so that they would not find it again. Well, where were they going to hide it became the big question. And all the lesser gods were called into council to consider the question. They said, well, we'll bury it deep in the earth. But Brahma said, no, that will not do, for man, woman will dig it up down into the earth and they will find it. Then they said, well, we will sink this divinity into the deepest ocean. And again, Brahma replied, no, not there, for they will learn to dive into the deepest water and search out the ocean bed, and they will find it there. And then the lesser god said, well, we will take it to the top of the highest mountain, and there we will hide it. But again, Brahma replied, no, eventually they will climb every high mountain on earth, and we will be sure someday that they will find it and take it up again just for themselves. And then the lesser gods gave up and concluded, we do not know where to hide it, for it seems there is no place on earth or the sea that man or woman will not eventually reach. And then Brahma said, here is what we will do. We will have every man and woman have divinity within themselves, and we will hide it deep inside because they will never think to look there. And ever since then, the legend concludes, man has been going up and down the earth, climbing, digging, diving, and exploring, searching for something that is already within themselves. And 2,000 years ago, a man came, and his name was Jesus, and he found it, and he shared this secret. And this movement started, this movement of Christ consciousness. And the divinity that is within you has been the best kept secret of our days. And so the prologue that we just spoke about is really a personal message to you. Wisdom traditions have been teaching around the world that it is time to celebrate this innate potential of the human spirit. The field of your soul is so massive, and we discover it, we accept it, and we release this divine power that dwells in you. And then our world expands. It expands so beautifully. The man, the divine consciousness of Jesus was a transformer, and individually and collectively, we can uncover this deep awareness, and we can expand our spiritual study together. For our daily word and our daily world allows us to have experiences, to practice every moment, keeping this connection of the divine. Every second, every moment, we explore this wisdom and we are reminded to express it. Discovering the power within, the empowerment, the soul journey for every person. And we also can embrace spiritual tools that help us develop an action plan that can breathe this divinity more fully. You see, it is in the practical application, the practical daily application to commit to spiritual practice techniques. And we're going to do one right now. What we're going to do is we are going to say this affirmation together. Together we say, I am a dynamic expression of God on the quest to know and reveal more of my true self. I want you to feel this affirmation. I want you to know this affirmation, because the spiritual practice of revealing more and more of your true self will become and is the dynamic expression that the divine is calling to you every day. And if you practice this for 21 days, it will become a habit. It will enlarge the field of your soul, and it becomes the universal experience, the call to express your divine inheritance. It is the everyday experience of the divine that builds the muscle of your true self. You see, we can see clearly through the window of our soul. Yes, we can. And I wanted to speak a little bit about a story that actually happened 20 years ago. And it's personal. And every one of you can call up a story from your past that has actually, in some ways, created your future self. It was a few days before September 11th, and my husband and I stood on the top of the Twin Towers in New York City in 2001. In awe, we saw the universe before us, high in the sky, observing, listening, and also acknowledging the power of all the people that we had met along the way, not only in the world of our lives, but the people that we had met that day as we took the elevator up and we spoke and we had lunch and we felt in a place of peace. And then we came home. And we all know that we come home to our life as it is. And in this moment, I had a large birthday party. A large birthday party to celebrate a milestone. And then we heard a few days later, the whole world viewed the destruction of the Twin Towers. And 2 weeks after that, I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, a life-threatening diagnosis. 6 months, they said, if you're lucky. What a thing to say to a person. They did not know that the divine lived in me and that I was going to choose to accept the diagnosis, but not the prognosis. And my spiritual practice was ignited. And I, in a single thought, decided to become love in action. And that was a choice to express my true self. And yes, it was also a journey that needed to happen internally first. And yes, I was committed to that journey. And so we can all be reminded of the destruction that happens in our life sometimes. And so 20 years after that event of the cancer and 20 years after the event of 9/11, There is now a memorial to remind us of the brave lives lost, but also of the importance of world peace internally and individually, and everyone in the world is joined together so that when the noise of things falling apart, we know that in some way they can come back together. And so I gratefully and I humbly say that the soul journey has taken me to this point. And every one of you has had a soul journey that has taken you to this point. The truth is, we are whole, complete, and perfect. And divine order is flowing in us now and forevermore. We allow the heart to become the master, and we join in this deep dive into the personal empowerment of the field of our soul, the field of our own personal soul work. So let's practice another affirmation. And here it goes. I activate the power of divine order in my life now. Together, let's say it. I activate the power of divine order in my life now. And the question is for us all now, as we have just said that affirmation, is, what do you do in the turbulence that happens in the ocean of life from time to time? The stormy windstorm, the tornado that churns and rears up unexpectedly in the human experience. You see, we can choose to discover the power within us that can take us through these turbulent times. And so that turbulent ocean that gets stirred up also has the ability to calm the mind. And we are reminded that life is not happening to you. Life is responding to you. Life is happening through you. There is a friend, a global friend that most of us know, I think, and his name is Carlos Santana. And many of you may or may not know that he actually is a friend of unity. And he, when you go to one of his concerts, will have images of all kinds of spiritual practice on his stage. So he creates the environment of spirit, of the divine, so that when he gets up to play his music, he will have that move through him so that it can reach you and we can respond. He has been a student of spirituality his entire life. And his partner, who is also the accomplished drummer, Cindy Blackman Santana, are the legendary Latin duo, actually group, that came to the United States from Mexico as teenagers in the mid-60s and have been active in philanthropy and social justice as well. They started a nonprofit called Milagro, which is Miracle Foundation, and that began in 1998 to benefit children around the world. But what's important is that Carlos says that with each concert and each recording, they hold an intention for music to inspire others so that they can reclaim their own divine light, and so that that light can be shared in the world. And so most recently, they were featured in Unity magazine, and they spoke about a few things. And one of the things they spoke of was about synchronicity. And Carlos said that for a long, long time, he has used music to heal others. And he was asked, well, how do you discover that you could channel your energy in that way? And he responded, it is all done by grace. Being in the place to receive the inner reality that we chose, that we can choose. We chose this time to be on the planet, and we chose our lives. And there is something that gives me confidence of spirit when I know that I am created in the image and likeness of something so miraculous. He goes on to say that it compels me to play music and to live by spiritual principle so that I can elevate and inspire people to be better humans. And so these healing frequencies that all of us have, and for Carlos and his beloved Cindy, they come through the healing frequency of music. Today you all heard Edith, who allows the frequency of music to move through her, and we feel it. We feel it. We don't talk about it. We don't just have it as an intellectual thought in our mind. We feel it. And so in this moment, we are reminded again of what Carlos said. He said, I want you all to imagine that the universe is people made up of frequency, vibration, electricity, light, photons. These are all the elements of the universe. And music is my frequency. Every tone, every note, and every space. So when I'm playing, I'm sending energy into the physical reality so that I can touch somebody's heart. So I can touch their body. So that maybe in a single moment, they will feel better. So I remind all of us here today that are you willing to play the universal love chord? The universal love chord. Because as physical, emotional, and spiritual beings, we affect all the elements in the divine order of the universe so that we can make lasting change. So I invite you to be playing in the universe, every one of you, playing in the universe of your own eternal divine nature. And it is very important for us to do this together. Jesus was a transformer. He was a transformer, and he used transforming ideas as opposed to conforming ideas. And I think that's what Carlos Santana was just saying, that when we live and breathe from the field of our soul, we have a different experience, a very different experience. I received a call this week. It was my son on the other side where he lives. And he called to say in great distress, Mom, Nigel died. Now, Nigel was a very dear friend of our son. He was 25 years old. And suddenly and tragically, in his home in a single moment. He passed. So I ask you, what happens when life gives us dark moments? When we get those dark moments, we must reach inside so that we can express outside. And we know that all of the teachings everywhere, in every country, in every place, in nature, in everywhere we walk, we get to express that innate potential. And, you know, Nigel, he expressed that fully in his life. And we attended the memorial. We attended the memorial online, virtually. And it began with his sister doing the eulogy. And she took the opportunity to teach. She took the opportunity to say what a kind and gentle and faith-filled person her brother was. She was consumed with grief, but in that moment she took the opportunity to teach, because Nigel was kind and he had faith. And love even can see through the darkness. And in the darkness of the day that he left his physical body, we know that he was still loved. His sister expressed how he passed. He made a call and said that he was going to stop all of the substances that he had been using. He was ready for a new day and a new dawn. He did this earnestly and with peace in his heart and with love in his heart. Nigel was one of those people who never held a resentment. He never held a resentment, yet he was struggling with anxiety and some mental anxiousness. And so he made a decision that day. And his sister described that when you mix benzoyl and fentanyl, the body slows down and it's like you go to sleep. And in that moment, he went to sleep. He went to sleep and he didn't wake up. But I tell you this story because the one day that someone passes in our life, or a divorce happens, or a job is lost, does not mean that the fullness of life was not there. In fact, the power of the words that people spoke were so incredibly inspiring. His father got up and talked about how when he went to his room, there was a Bible sitting right next to his bed, and that his room was clean and he was starting a new day. So, darkness will pass and a new day will come. And when the sun shines, it will shine out the clearer. So we remember this, all of us right now, that there sometimes are treasures in the darkness. And sometimes we make decisions. But if there's one decision I'm going to ask you all to make today, in the field of your soul, is to be a friend. To be a friend. To do something to help another person, to expand the field of your soul, and to be compassionate and to be a good friend. Our son had received a text early in the year from Nigel saying, you know, it's been a tough year, but I want to wish you the best. I want to wish you the best. That's the kind of person Nigel was. And I know all of you here are those kind of people. The people that reach out to touch somebody and to touch somebody with compassion. Divine source is with you always. The field of your soul is with you always. And we can stay centered in this piece now as we celebrate now. And I want you to do it. Nigel would have wanted you to do it. Carlos Santana would have wanted you to do it. And Jesus came. And Buddha came. And all of the gods and goddesses that are practiced in the Hindu religion. And in all of the elder wisdom of our First Nations community. It's to be love. To be love and to celebrate. That is the true knowing. You see, science is about knowing, but truth is about feeling. So when we feel this knowing of the divine, we can celebrate fully. And so as you go about your day today, do it. Do it from the field of the light beings that you all are. And for this, I say thank you for being able to be in this circle of kindness and love. So go out and live from the field of your soul and be kind. And I think now we will have Edith.
The mountains rise in splendor, the sun bursts forth anew. Small birds all join in chorus, and green leaves are tipped with dew. I reach to feel the perfect day that everyone might see. The world I am creating with the power I have in me. It's the world I am creating with the power I have in me. My heart is truly dancing as I turn to you and say, this light that we are sharing glows brighter every day. The wonder in my soul right now is always bursting free. It's the world I am creating with the power I have in me. It's the world I am creating with the power I have in me. And all my soul is pouring forth, my arms held open wide. My joy in you comes shining through. There's nothing here to hide. I stand to praise with all my soul that everything I my dreams come true, and my heart it sings with love for you. All the beauty from the power above, it's the world we are creating with the power of that love. It's the world I am creating with the power of our love. The mountains rise in splendor, the sun bursts forth anew, small birds all join in chorus, and green leaves are tipped with dew. I reach to feel the perfect day, that everything I see is the world I am creating with the power I have in me. It's the world I am creating with the power I have in me.
Thank you so much, Janet, for your enlightening message